GameDropZone Dropcast. We are swimming in the hot and heavy midst of E3, and I, Kyle Shimon, have a question for you, Matthew Kershaw. Do alpacas smell as bad on the inside?
Is this a reference to the Vocaloid alpaca song, or is it a reference to Star Wars?
Well, a bit of both, because this is the E3 of Star Wars, you know? We've been waiting years
You
for
know,
this.
when I was younger, I used to go out and blast alpacas between the eyes.
With what?
My...
What were you
I
blasting
don't know.
them with? What landed on their eyes?
What's that Star Wars quote? Is it like, I used to blast womp-rats?
I used to bullseye womp-rats on my T16 back home.
There we go. Fuck, I'm not a nerd like you, so...
Fuck, what am I doing with my life? God, talk
you
to
can,
me about the beautiful game.
You can, like, pull out quotes about, like, fucking Star Trek and Star Wars and talk about, like, the Clone 55 group and how they're the best thing
It's
ever
the
in the
501st,
Clone Wars.
thank you.
See?
The premium cosplayers of Star Wars and other fine sci-fi universes. Anyway, fucking E3, dude, it's happening.
It's happened.
Awesome. It's still happening. We've got like one more day.
Is this where you pull out the Ron Paul gif where it's happening?
Alright, who's Ron Paul?
He was that crazy politician that tried to run for president.
That's like every fucking one yet. Literally. It's like every American is somehow on the level of crazy politician who's trying to run for president.
Would you say that it's as crazy as Bethesda at E3? See that segue? It was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was something. I mean, I like it when you point them out. I think they work way better that way. So...
Otherwise, you just get confused and be like, why Bethesda I'm running for president?
I don't know.
You don't want Tom Howard. Oh god, yeah, Todd Howard as president,
so
promising.
American, it hurts. Like
he promises all these things and then it never happens. He'd make a perfect president.
So Bethesda, holy shit, that started strong. I thought.
Oh fuck yeah! Opening up with Doom, which both me and you didn't give a shit about, and neither did a lot of people.
No.
And then they showed it, and it was like, holy shit, this looks awesome.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit about it because of their attitude of like, you know, if you go to QuakeCon, you'll see it. If not, then fuck you. I was like, well, you know, I'm not even interested in your game to begin with because I haven't played the others, which is like a shame on my gaming history. But yeah, holy shit, it looked amazing.
It looked so cool. Just to begin with, I thought, oh look, they're going for like Halo because it opened up looking exactly like Halo, like the hood, the helmet, everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is just like a darker version of Halo. And then he just like rips the heart out of a demon and starts curb stomping them and chopping them into pieces. And I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
It was that fucking hand moment, dude. Dear, just the coolest moment of E3 right there.
Oh, where the Revenant cuts both of the Doom guy's arms off, beats him to death with it.
No, I meant the one where he fucking stood on the guy's arm and wrenched his forearm off. And then used it to open a motherfucking door with a wet slap on the pad. But, you know, the Revenant one was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's like...
Did you see the gameplay of it?
No. Was this after the conference, like on the stage, on the floor or something?
I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple of days since it ended. I'm looking at our write-up here, and I think it was after they talked about multiplayer. They showed Doom Guy entering Satan's lair.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like full-on arena combat, sort of Quake-ish, where he was just in this big area blowing stuff up with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I did see that. They had all the weapons, didn't they? The full weapon wheel.
Yeah, and then he pulled out like a BFG at the end. It was so cool.
That game has a real look to it, you know? It has...
yeah.
For something that's so... It is quite, you know, it's like orange and grey, but it's orange and grey in a way that totally works. You know, like the Bloodborne thing where it's like a really limited colour palette but pulls it off. Whereas you look at something like Black Ops, which we'll get to later, and it's like the same kind of shitty colour palette, but it just doesn't have the style to it. But
yeah, I mean, it was very bright. I mean, one of the things I noticed is the guy's inside hell, and it's super bright, like it's, you know, Summit in California, which is a bit weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, nobody wants black, do they?
I guess, but no, but like, I guess it makes sense. I mean, when he was in that lava-filled room killing demons, it was like super orange and bright, like you said. It was cool.
I always thought, like, people had such a reverence for Doom, and I kind of realised it from a distance, but I don't think I could go back and play those old games, because it's like, I'm really interested in this one, but this, what it is now, is so much more appealing to me than the art I've seen of the other games. So I don't know how well it would hold up.
Those old games are nostalgic for people who played them. The same with any old game.
But is this
I mean,
like? Is this
I played
holding
Doom
to
when
it?
I was younger, and it's like, yeah, it's fun, but they definitely don't hold up.
No, no. But is this what you're looking for, though, as somebody who did play Doom?
Well, I'm not interested in Doom. I played the games. I thought they were fun, but I was never like a Doom fan.
Yeah. What about the way the sort of combat moved? Because you likened it to Halo at the beginning and said it changed, but to me, I almost felt that this looked more like the Halo I want than like actual Halo. You know, with just like the
This
purity to it, just like the guns, the melee, and you're just fucking running. Obviously, it's a lot
I
faster, but
I like twitch shooters and arena-based combat, like Quake 3 or Nexowiz or whatever that game was
like
called. Like,
squeeze. Yep.
I like fast-moving combat where you just run around and blow stuff up,
Yeah.
but not like just pointless killing stuff, like you're moving through a level or whatever. And that's what this looked like it had. Like when he was in combat, it was just run and gun
Yeah.
with like really fluent movements. Looked really nice.
That plasma rifle looked like ass. Not the actual gun model. I mean, like the way it fired, the sound effects, the part where the bullets just seemed to pass through the enemy. It was.
Yeah.
I know it's not final, but it was super weird to see them. Like, why don't you show off a more visceral gun?
Mm.
But
Are you interested in their snap map or whatever it's called?
I wasn't.
I
And
figured
then watching the conference again because I went back and seeing the. I went back and to watch this specifically, not the whole thing, but seeing like the part where you can like spawn NPCs and do like actual sort of like fake game logic was super interesting.
I thought you'd be interested in that because of the whole co-op sort of idea, and people will go and like remake the original Doom game inside Doom 4.
Yeah, yeah. It's and
It'll
Mario
be like
somehow. They'll make Mario 1-1 in there.
well, yeah, it's like the whole Trials series. You know how they have their own map creator to make your own bike tracks, and then people go and make first-person shooters and
Yeah.
all sorts of crazy shit that the developers never thought was possible. This will happen in this. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, I thought this looked more. I mean, you saw that in a few games this year, didn't you? Really, but I thought this was one of the better ones. That. Yeah, I'm interested in this game, and I really had no interest before. It was super exciting.
Yeah. Tell me, are you interested in Battle Cry?
Nope.
Me neither.
Moving on. That game, right? I don't know anything about the game. I haven't played it. I know they've been in like closed alphas or beta testing or whatever. But like the footage looked like ass. Like it almost looked like they had skipped half the frames. Did you notice? On like the combat animations.
No,
I think it was meant to be stylistic, but it came off weird.
I feel like it's supposed to be stylistic. I felt like it was very Team Fortress 2-esque with not even just like the way the two teams fighting with certain classes and the classes define what you can do and you've got to work together. That at least I assume it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
But I thought they were trying to go for the Team Fortress 2 style, like graphically, but just update it for 2015.
Yeah. It was
But
I didn't understand the point of that game, to be honest.
no, I didn't know. Like as I was writing my notes for it, watching it live, I was like, okay, so it's melee focused, and then they pull out a bow and start shooting each other, and I'm like, wait, it's not okay.
Yeah, there was a dude with a rifle, wasn't there, as well?
Yeah, and there's a guy with bow and arrows and stuff. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people will like that game. I don't know what they look for in those genres, because isn't it like some sort of MOBA? Or some variant of that?
It's not a MOBA, it's more just team-based.
No creeps. Just combat.
Yeah.
Right.
But the whole point of a MOBA is there's the different lanes, and there's the upgrades per game, and there's the different heroes or characters you can play.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about that genre either, so it's like...
Neither do I, so we should move on.
What about Dishonored? Well, you don't give a fuck about Dishonored. I thought it was super disappointing there wasn't gameplay, but obviously we don't know how far along that game is.
Yeah, I knew Dishonored would be there from the leaks, and you telling me about it, being like, yeah, it'll be there, just, prepare. I never played Dishonored 1. I thought it was interesting, but again, it's just a cinematic trailer. It doesn't show anything about the game.
No, it was cool, but yeah.
What I know you tend to stay away from what people on the internet think, but what do you think of the female protagonist?
I don't know. There's no way to answer this question, is it? Because like somebody will pick it apart from either angle. I don't care either way. You can play as both her or Corvo, so.
That's my reaction too, but the internet has like blown it out of proportion, being like, "Oh, you can play as a female now." They're pandering to the people who want more women in video games.
That's fucking ridiculous. It's like, I can't deal with that. You can't even like argue with that logic. It's like whatever. If you feel that way, then you feel that way. Fine, but I'm not going to waste my breath
Yeah,
saying
I mean, I
otherwise.
think it's cool. I think people should have choices in games.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
Unless you're
shouldn't.
making an experience which is you're playing a man and this is a man's experience, then there's no reason.
When you say a man's experience, you mean the character, not the person playing the game.
Yeah, and you could make an argument that Assassin's Creed used to be a game where you had to play as a dude because it was like Desmond's story, and then it was Ezio's story, and he's like a dashing rogue, and they wouldn't have worked the other way around. But
Well,
then when they
I remember seeing this somewhere. I think it was on Twitter, somebody, but it was like the reason all or most video game characters are white men is because they can be these unstable people or these murderers, and it's fine. But if it's a woman, then suddenly, because they're insane because they're a woman, it's very like
yeah, I guess it
you,
plays differently, doesn't it? It's like you're probably right in that you can take a white male dude as a psychopath pretty easily now. We've come to accept that. But if this woman turned around and like killed 50 civilians and was like super dark, it would be weird.
It's not just that. It's like you can have a white male that's insecure and has flaws, and it's fine. But if it's a woman, then people will tear you apart for it.
Yeah.
Well, not people, but
No.
certain groups of people will do it.
Yeah. I mean, people should make the games they want to make. If they want to make a game that's male focused, then that's fine. But I don't think there's a problem. I think people are reacting the other way when it's like, no, we're making this game for everyone. It's like,
Yeah.
I would probably.
The reason I bring this up is because when we get to Fallout, I want to talk about that as well.
That was interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
But before we gotta move on to Elder Scrolls, but before that, what did you think of the Dishonored Definitive Edition?
I own everything, so I couldn't give a shit.
I'm still not gonna play it on the Xbox One or PS4 anyway.
It depends what price is it. If it's pretty cheap. If it's like here's for $60 for this thing, then what are you doing?
Well, it includes all the DLC.
I know, but you can get it for cheaper than that on a Steam sale. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's cool if you want to get into that stuff, and it is a really good game, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Whatever. What about the Elder Scrolls? I couldn't care less
Speaking
about
of
either
cool,
game.
the Elder Scrolls Tamriel Unlimited.
Yeah. Imperial City and Orsinium are being added. And there was totally a teaser, I think, for the Dark Brotherhood. That was the whole hand thing at the end, wasn't it?
I don't know, I missed this part.
That's probably for the best. What about the Elder Scrolls Legends? Do you like card battlers on mobile phones? Or iPads,
I missed this as well. I missed all of the Elder Scrolls stuff.
Well, let's get to what we actually care about, which is Fallout Shelter. That's another mobile phone game that is really fucking boring, having played it.
Apparently it's really good. I would play it until it got boring.
It is like a Facebook... It handles microtransactions better, I'll give it that. And if you're into Fallout and need something new right now to get hyped for, then it probably works. But it's just
I mean,
I've
heard a lot of people really enjoy it. Apparently it's making more in microtransactions than like Candy Crush.
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily surprise me given how much hype's around Fallout 4.
Yeah, it looks like a fun little distraction that people are having problems trying to play it on certain iOS devices.
Yeah, it looks nice. Like stylistically, it's really quite cool. I like the whole XCOM style to the base. It's it's interesting. But I played it for literally 10 minutes while waiting for my lunch to heat up, and then that was it. But Fallout 4, you like Fallout? Tell me about it.
I didn't like Fallout, and then I was playing New Vegas because I was like, I should give this series a chance again.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have Fallout 1, which I played for like 5 minutes, couldn't find the rope, and then gave up.
That's
I
one
haven't
of
played
the
Fallout.
top-down ones, isn't it? Strategy.
Yeah, that's the first one. I mean, I can see why people would like it. I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't play it for very long.
Yeah.
But I have that. I have Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and I didn't enjoy 3, even though I completed it years ago on the 360.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had New Vegas with all the DLC from a Steam sale like 2 years ago that I only played like an hour before getting bored. So I was like, I should play this game to like, give Fallout a chance, and I really enjoyed it. Well, I am really enjoying it. I'm still playing it.
Yeah.
I have like 25 hours in that game now.
New Vegas is really well written. I've played one of the DLCs for it, which is it's like there's a giant crater or something full of like robot brains. It's fucking hilarious.
I know.
They keep talking about dicks at the start of it. It's really good.
Yeah, I need to play that.
You need to.
too.
It's not like the Fallout aside. It's just really well written.
Yeah.
But what did you think about this demo then?
the Fallout 4, I thought it looked really nice. People are like already shitting on the graphics,
I
and
think
it's
it's
like,
disappointing for me personally. I thought it would look less like Fallout 3.
yeah, it does have a very Fallout 3 feel, but I think that might just be because of the UI,
Yes, yeah.
it being green.
Oh, it's fucking
Like
terrible.
that's a very Fallout 3 thing. I think if it was orange, then people would be like, "Oh, it's like New Vegas."
Yeah, I just think it's bad UI anyway. I think it's really garish. I mean, I know
Oh,
they've
it's a
offered
horrible
customization in the
UI.
past, but I cannot get on board with that. I cannot get on board with the VATs, in any way, shape, or form.
Well, you don't have to use VATs in the game.
But I do if it controls as badly as Fallout 3 does. That was the problem with Fallout 3, was you couldn't. It's an RPG. It's not a first-person shooter, so like enemies are built in a way that not every weapon is going to be effective against them, is it? Like in Call of Duty, you shoot and the guy's dead. In Fallout, it's like you could shoot 1,000 pistol bullets into this thing's leg and it's still not going to, die.
I guess, but I kind of like that. I don't think you need to use VATs. I haven't used VAT. I don't use VATs that often in New Vegas,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that doesn't look like it'll play anything like this. I think this looks really smooth. It looks nice, better than I thought it would, considering it's a Fallout game.
So you wanted to mention the male-female options before.
Yeah, the whole leak a while ago saying you could only play as a male, and then people kind of got upset at that. And then there was the rumors of the voice protagonist, and people thought, oh yeah, it'll definitely only be male.
I wonder,
It's
though, if it was at one point. Like,
I don't think so because I mean it'd be easy to fake it for this demo because they played as a man. They only briefly showed the wife of the main character.
yeah. I genuinely, like, that so much of that leak was right, and then when you had the image at the top of the script as well, and that's the exact person that they showed in the demo, it's like, I think at one point that script was very much right. Because
I guess,
it's like,
but
it
it's
couldn't be wrong. You've got the facial structure of the guy they show on the stage demo. It's like, clearly something lined
yeah.
up there.
I think game development is a lot like how like wrestling is written
Oh,
in
holy
terms
shit,
of
God help us, if
in
that's true.
terms of they have a long-term plan and they build towards it, but then they change so much going through based on the feedback and the stuff they hear.
Yeah.
So I mean, at one point they could have just thought, yeah, we'll just have this male character and focus the story around that, so we can build, I guess, more backstory for the character, which is kind of dumb considering it's a role-playing game that you're supposed to like put yourself into.
Yeah, what if people
But then
thought about the voice option? Because I think it's
people
terrible.
have lost their shit over it.
Yeah.
People have lost their shit over the dialogue choices being reduced to 4 buttons.
Whatever, they'll deal with it. If they're 4
I
better
guess
buttons more meaningful than, like,
because I was talking to somebody the other day and I made the comparison to Deus Ex Human Revolution,
right.
where it was the previous Deus Ex games were just a list like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and then they changed those 4 buttons. But then one of them was always to bring up more information if you wanted more like backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I mean, this could be how it is in Fallout 4. I mean, they only showed like a couple options.
I was simultaneously impressed with the conversation stuff because I thought it looked more interesting. And then when I realized everyone's face is like completely static, but their mouth bends, I was like, fuck. Like, you've got these nice camera options, but Jesus Christ, it's still Fallout.
I didn't notice that.
It's, yeah. I see the conversation. It's the kind of thing you can't judge till you're in the game. Like, we don't even know what the mission structure's like. How much is this character's backstory really matter? Like,
well, as far as I'm aware, it's just you're married at some point. You're either the wife or husband. You have a kid. You escape to the vault when the nukes start going off, and that's kind of like the tutorial. And then 200 years pass. You're still alive in the vault somehow.
Yeah.
And then you get the Pip-Boy from a skeleton, and then you're off in the wilderness.
See, the kid really interests me because he said that they generate the kid based off your couple, and the part where you make another character, you customize 2 characters basically. It's like there's no way they are just dead at the start of that game. They have to do something more with it, even if it's flashbacks.
Well, then what are they going to do? Because you survived 200 years, I figured it would be like in the style of Red Dwarf. I know I don't think you've ever watched that, but essentially,
I try not to.
The main character in that game does something wrong on this spaceship, and as punishment, he gets put into stasis for the rest of the trip.
Right.
When it's only supposed to be like 18 months, but he wakes up 3 billion years in the future.
Yeah.
but because he's been in stasis, he's been alive. I wonder if it's like that, where the main character does something, ends up getting put in stasis, wakes up, and suddenly everybody's gone. But then, like, what happens to the person you're married to? Because they can't just die if you put time into building them. So maybe they also get put in stasis, but they leave before you. But then it's Fallout 3's plot.
What if they've been turned into ghouls and they're still on the outside alive because they never got in there and they somehow just survived 200 years? But like, there's no way you do that and they don't use it. Like, there's so many ways they could go with it.
Yes, I think in the Fallout universe, people stay alive for longer.
Just because?
So,
just because it works for storytelling?
Well, no, it works, like, even in the modern day, 100 years ago, people didn't live up to, like, 90 or 100.
Yeah.
And this is the future with better healthcare, as far as I can tell. You can blow off your limbs and then replace them with a medic kit.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like your son, the reason you create two people is your son or daughter, whatever it is out in the wasteland as well.
I thought when I read that leak originally that you would just die, and the part where you can play as a male or female will be when you just make your son after the end of the game. After the end of the main story, as you carry on playing in the world as your child. Because that would solve the problem that they always had with never allowing you to continue the game. They did it in Fallout 3 and they did it again in New Vegas.
Did they?
Yeah, at least they fixed it in Fallout 3, they never did in New Vegas. So it's like you just finished the story and
I've never completed New Vegas, so...
Yeah, do the DLC before you wrap it up if you plan on doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Or, like, at least make a hard save. But, the problem I had with Fallout was really simple. It's like it didn't seem to fix any problems I had with the game previously. Like, in terms of, like, the UI, the combat, the fucking VATs, that kind of shit. But the building stuff seems really cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of problems I have with Fallout, like you said, is the UI. I hate the Pip-Boy. I hated the combat and the way the AI was done, and I hope they've at least fixed that part. I mean, the Pip-Boy's still there, but it looks slightly easier to use.
Yeah.
The UI looks terrible, but now with mods, you can just remove that. Hopefully.
I'm going to buy this on the PC, even though it's going to be like comparable everywhere else because it looks pretty basic. I'm definitely going to go PC on this one. I think.
My PC won't run it, so I'll get it on the Xbone.
See, the thing is, I don't ever want to play a Bethesda game default. I always want to fucking make myself invincible and not deal with the gameplay. I last about 5 hours, and then I just give up and like lose interest. So I've done that like ever since. I completed Skyrim all the way through without it, but regretted it ever since.
I like Skyrim and New Vegas on PC because I can just download loads of immersive mods that just add to the game that I feel like stuff missing. But
yeah, I removed pants. I don't know. I removed things from my game, which was underwear and
I never said I didn't do that.
Mostly. I don't want to see no dirty faces or cheeks of other kinds. Anyway.
Yeah, the shelter stuff looks really cool. The idea that you can build this settlement like anywhere in the world is really cool.
I don't think it's anywhere though. I think it's like set points.
Like set towns and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be like this zone you can totally just destroy. I'm pretty sure they said that in the demo.
I'm still alright with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still like kind of insane when you think about it.
Yeah, I hope you can build like walls around your settlement and have guards.
Yep, looks like you can.
Yeah, the weapon stuff looks really cool as well.
Yep. I don't know. It's like I'm going to get the most basic laser weapon and just use that anyway, so it's never going to be something I engage with, but those fucking settlements, dude. It's cool. Have to like provide power and crops and water.
And then you set up like turrets to keep raiders out.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Do you have any other thoughts, or do you want to move on to the Microsoft?
I guess we can lead into Microsoft by just talking about the mods for Fallout 4 on console, which I think is really cool.
It's even better when you tell me the segue before you do it. That works so much smoother.
Todd Howard and is it Todd Howard? I can't remember his name.
Yep, it's Todd Howard. I would do an American accent, but I just installed someone, so I'm not going to bother.
I thought it was Tom, but then I said Todd. But
yeah, it's Toddy. Toddy H.
He came out on the Microsoft stage at some point to talk about mods on the Xbox One for Fallout 4, which I think is really cool.
Yep.
Nobody knows how it's going to work yet.
Nope.
Other than it'll come sometime in early 2016.
And it's then they hope to bring it to PS4. It's just another lie. It's just another Xbox lie to make you buy their console.
This is Todd Howard, who is known to tell many, many lies about his game.
Do people like him?
Skyrim. People don't like him because he lies about games. Like Oblivion's Radiant AI is the best thing ever, and it was crap. Skyrim has unlimited quests, and No, it didn't.
When I read that quote that fucking Todd Howard said, the timeline is fuzzy on the PS4. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Just say it. Just say Microsoft paid you. It's like...
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows that's how... Well, a lot of people are realizing now that's how the game industry works. It's like, just come out and say that stuff. Like, nobody likes lies.
I guess, but it's PR. They can't go out and say, yeah, Microsoft gave us a bunch of money to have this exclusive thing, because then they'll get backlash from people who support Sony.
Maybe, but I don't want to really get into this now. I'd like to have this conversation after E3, but I've noticed a lot more executives and even just people representing games, like, just being a lot more forthcoming with stuff like that this year. It's been really quite interesting. Like Phil Spencer, like I was watching an interview with him when he was like, yeah, if this preview program turns to shit, then we're just going to pull it, you know? He actually said that he was going to pull it, which I really like. It's like, expose a bit more of that stuff. It really helps humanize it.
I can't remember which interview it was, but somebody asked him, like, what are you going to do to stop half-finished games appearing on your console?
Yeah, like the demos and stuff. But like that's how straight you need to be, though, is like, because then he will answer that question in a believable way, or he'll fob it off and you'll know it's like, you know, that's him being PR.
Yeah.
It's like, right, there's one I'll send you to where it's him and Kuda on a couch, and Kuda's like pulling the company line the whole way. He's like, oh, I love Halo 5, it's really revolutionizing the space. And then Phil Spencer's like, yeah, I love this, you know, I went and played some Morpheus, that's cool. It's like, just be honest, you know?
Yeah, I really like Phil Spencer. He seems like he wants the best for the Xbox division of Microsoft, and he just doesn't necessarily care. Like, he's happily talked about Sony and PlayStation 4 and what they do great that they want to try to do, like with I can't remember what it was, but he said something like, I can't remember the exact quote, but I think Sony just launched their SharePlay stuff, and he was like, that's a great like technical feat for Sony. We hope to someday have something like that on the Xbox.
Yeah.
It's like he's not afraid to be like, you know, open about stuff.
I thought it was really good when he came out and talked about like the sort of the low level emulation they're doing on the. Right, let's go through this press conference and we'll get to what I was going to say anyway in natural.
Okay, well, you mentioned Halo 5 before, so do you want to talk about that?
Halo 5 looks great, and they announced a new game mode, which is going to be huge. It's not what I thought it would be. It's basically like a MOBA, but well, no, it's like literally a MOBA, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we both thought it would be something like Destiny with this, you know, sizable free roaming area to do like side objectives, kind of like Spartan Ops in.
It's almost like that though. Like they totally have named enemies dropping into the world, and you get additional points for like going off the beaten path and like taking them out and stuff.
It's essentially 12v12 big team battles in maps 4 times the size as normal big team battle maps.
Yeah.
And there are side objectives, like you don't just have to kill players to earn points, you can kill AI controlled marines, or you can go off and take down like this Promethean boss and get like 25 points that way.
Yeah.
But they're super tough, so you've got to work as a team, and then you have to deal with the enemy team as well at the same time.
Yeah, the other cool thing about that is you totally have requisitions now in the match, so your team earns points, levels up, unlocks more things you can unlock yourself by spending energy you earn. I think some of it recharges like a pip at a time. So you can get yourself like different vehicles and stuff, which seems really cool because it sort of minimizes that rush at the beginning, doesn't it? And as far as we know, it's just in this game mode.
I wonder how the microtransactions in Halo 5 work, and if there's some way to buy points at the beginning of the game for them.
They have come out and talked about that. It is totally cosmetic items, things like that, like weapon skins and stuff. And yeah, that's not in the game modes. It's just for like vanity stuff.
I like that idea. I like unlocking armors and, you know, stuff like that. And if there's a way to unlock it in game through like, you know, like Black Ops 1 style, where you play games, you earn points, and then you buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, I can go and buy my ODST armor that I love immediately, or I can just pay like £2-3 and then just unlock it immediately without having to play the games.
See, I only learned about this because in the limited edition they announced today, you totally get 12 rec packs, they're called. And this is when I learned that they'd like explained what they were. It's like, I think it's like Mass Effect style, like you roll and you'll get so many different skins for this type of gun and stuff. It might be
it's kind of like it's kind of like Battlefield's battle packs.
Yeah, basically. Which
that's
I'm
cool.
fine
I like
with.
battle packs.
Yeah, and I would spend money on Halo ones because I fucking really love Halo. I discovered over this week I fucking love Halo.
You spent a lot of money on Mass Effects.
And I'll spend a lot of money here if the game's good, you know? If it's shit,
yeah,
then I totally won't.
I don't like microtransactions in games that just feel forced and like you have to pay them to progress or pay them to win.
Yeah, yeah. This seems it seems like they're doing microtransactions right though.
Yeah, even in I know it was never covered in any conference, but Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain,
Yep.
also has microtransactions in, and they've gone out and said, yeah, you can earn everything in game, like camos and attachments for guns and all this other stuff for Mother Base, or you can pay money because we know not everybody has, several hours to unlock all this stuff, so they can just pay for it themselves.
Yeah, I know they always say that like, oh, nobody has the time, and like a lot of people take it as these people never exist, or they're like slick businessmen that just like play games, twice a year sort of thing. But I don't have the time to do a lot of that shit. So
Yeah.
I will totally sink like, even if it's just like £10, like let's buy like, I don't know, half a dozen packs or something. I do it in Dragon Age too. It's like I don't have any more days to run on a single game because I've got like other shit to play, other stuff to do.
Well, that's it. People only think of themselves when it comes to this. Like, when all these games come out, we will be back in our last year of university, the most difficult and time-consuming year. We won't have
Allegedly.
we won't have several hours every day to go and play games.
Yeah, yeah. It's totally it's a
People,
real use case.
I mean, yeah, people just need to realize that there are other people out there that don't have the time. It's like with the whole Xbox One launch where everyone was like, well, not everybody has, or they, what was the thing that they complained about with the always online?
Not everyone has like internet all the time and stuff. I think it was.
Yeah.
Which I could easily dismiss that claim because I do have internet all the time, and it's not really an issue for me. But yeah, I mean, also like people who comment on games like in a more like a wide-reaching way than we do. It's like a lot of them are like, oh, it's got microtransactions. They're clearly just trying to get more money out of them. It's like, no, like you don't understand because you don't play a game for more than 3 days. They play it for a review, they play it for a preview, and that's fine. And we do the same sometimes. Like, look at all the Steam shit I've covered on the site. Like, I don't go back and play them because I think they're trash. But it's like if I did, but I don't have the time each day to sink hundreds of hours in. It's like, yeah, I'm going to throw £3 at this thing to get some hot armor. Because why not?
I guess, but there are games that you enjoy that you also review, and then you go back and play them.
Yeah, like fucking Destiny, for example. A game I loved. Like, the review reflects that with its 3 out of 5. But yeah, Recore. That was another new game announced by that's Concept, isn't it? That's Keiji Inafune's company.
I don't know, but all I know is it was another cinematic trailer, no gameplay shown, just kind of a reveal of it, I guess.
I nearly shouted out loud when that dog exploded. I was so pissed. So fucking pissed.
Oh yeah, you're into dogs. You're
wait, hang on now. You're the furry in this establishment.
No, I meant you're super into dogs in that you have a dog and you like dogs.
Yeah, I don't like animal cruelty.
I was not
dogs.
making a furry reference.
I mean, fuck cats and not in the way you're thinking. Backwards compatibility was up next.
Yeah, now this is something I want to bitch about. Do you remember when both consoles launched and both Microsoft fanboys and Sony fanboys were like, what the fuck, respective company that I like? Why can we not play, console games from the previous thing?
Yeah.
And then now, 2 years later, it comes for the Xbox One. Xbox fanboys, and I guess people that just like Xbox, are like, oh, this is nice, thank you, this is what we wanted. And then Sony fanboys are like, well, why would you want to play old games? What the fuck?
I still argue, why would you want to play old games? What the fuck, but go on.
No, but I mean, it's
a really nice service.
It's hypocritical that 2 years ago, I'm not saying all Sony supporters like this. I mean, after this was revealed, I went on the PS4 subreddit, and there were tons of like friendly people being like, "Oh, this is a great thing for Microsoft," but the problem is fanboys ruin it for every group.
I think it's fucking great. As someone who plays almost exclusively on the Sony platform, with the exception of exclusives or when it's something I want to play with you, it's like, I think this is great because it means maybe Sony will like speed up PlayStation Now and have better offers than they do at the minute. Because that's their solution to this problem, and at the minute it's kind of shitty. Like with the prices they're asking for old games, it's just not on.
But what I mean is, 2 years ago, people were bitching on both sides that this wasn't a thing. Now it's a thing for one of them. And then people are like, well, why would you want this anyway? It's all about new games.
Yeah, I mean, I keep my old console, so I don't see the issue. But
this is a huge thing, because it's free. You can soon you'll be able to play almost any 360 game on your Xbox One. It's really smart how they're doing it. Like, essentially, they're just emulating 360 games, which you can't even do on PC yet.
What they're doing is, I watched an interview with Phil Spencer. They are emulating the hardware that the 360 runs on, then running the OS on that. So basically, the Xbox One thinks it's just a game that's taking up a lot of its memory, I guess.
I have played Mass Effect on my Xbox One,
Yeah.
and it runs exactly like it does on the 360. It's almost scary.
Yeah.
And you can bring up like the Xbox 360 guide and look at achievements and invite parties and invite friends and stuff. It's insane how they got this working.
Yeah, that's how PlayStation Now works, but that's obviously streaming, because there's fucking no way they're going to be able to emulate a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4 at any point. Because that's just that stuff's so fucked up. But it's really
I think
cool.
this is insanely cool. I was shocked. Well, I wasn't really shocked. I was surprised that Sony didn't have any news about their, was it PlayStation Now?
Yeah. I still don't think that's out in Europe, unless I'm mistaken, which is kind of insane, being Europe and PlayStation.
I would have thought there'd be something about it at E3, but I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe just decided not to talk about it, because compared to the Xbox, it's not as good in terms of you're only streaming it and you have to pay for it.
Yeah. But they do have Paris, Tokyo, Gamescom, and then PlayStation Experience, so who knows what they'll do before the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll change it now based on what the Xbox is doing.
I hope so. I mean, that's the great thing about this, is that it's going to drive the other person into doing something, isn't it?
Exactly. It's healthy. I mean, everybody's competition is the best thing for both Microsoft or Xbox and Sony.
Yeah.
Because you look at what one person does and it changes what the other does.
And
like, I don't think that the Valve VR or the Oculus deals would have ever came through for Xbox if Sony never developed Project Morpheus.
No, I mean, they would have no need to, would they? Also,
yeah, and now look at the future.
It isn't real.
Look at the future of VR now, where you have these different companies all working because of this.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people, a lot of devs talking about VR in really exotic ways, and then every time I see what's actually on the market, I'm like, I love space sims, but come on. I could play Valkyrie just fine on my DualShock, you know. Elite Dangerous is great without VR. It's like, I want to see something that somebody crazy like No Man's Sky people have developed for the VR. Like, I was listening to people talking about like just like putting you in different rooms, but like, and this would be more of an AR thing. Where it's like you could be reading a book in another country. It's like basic shit like that is what really excites me about VR and AR.
I and many people in the internet just want to have like, you know, rooms with waifus in them.
Absolutely. And that shit's going to come out of fucking Asia when they get on board, so I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I can't wait till Capcom's totally on board. They've got like Morpheus demos of like zombies eating your face and stuff, and a dude with a knife trying to cut you. It's
what
cool.
Are you talking about, Asia? Valve VR and Gmods, that's all you need.
I don't want Valve anywhere near my eyes, thank you. I've seen Gabe Newell up close in fucking large images taken from, I guess, selfies with him and his fucking, yeah. I don't want that shit. So, Xbox are being competitive by announcing the super badly priced Elite wireless controller.
Oh my god, when they were showing the Elite control, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I remember telling you when the Xbox One launched, or was originally revealed, I wanted some kind of button or paddle on the back to remap stuff.
Yeah.
And they're actually doing it, which is so cool.
Are you going to buy this though, really? What is it, is it $120 or $170?
$150.
Fuck. Like, I think already the price for a controller is way too much for what it is, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's very expensive for a controller. Even with the stuff thrown in, it's like, you know, 4 back paddle things, 6 thumbsticks. That weird D-pad looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm someone who bought loads of the fucking Razer ones on the 360, and they were really shit quality. But, you know, like you say, the remount buttons is really cool. It's like, that gave me extra bumpers, really upped my Halo game. But I don't know that I'm going to pay this much money for a controller myself.
No, I would have to have a lot of just spare money to just be like, yeah, I'll just buy one of these. But it's called an Elite wireless controller. It's not just for the every person playing Xbox, I think.
No.
It's going to have a big thing for MLG and competitive, especially like fighting games with that D-pad.
Yeah, the D-pad is the craziest thing. I mean, I like that you can swap the sticks out as well, because then I'll just get some like fucking dual stock thumbsticks that aren't horrible like the Xbox One.
It totally comes with convex thumbsticks like the PS4.
Yeah, it's not well. Like, yeah, the PS4 is interesting because it's got like a concave rim followed by the convex center. I just don't like how small the Xbox One ones are. Like
They are pretty small, yeah.
It was weird, but let's keep cracking on. Todd Howard is up next with a shitter version of the demo he gave the day earlier, I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't as good.
It was the same
they
stuff,
showed...
but with the worse music. It was like really, really dull.
They had already showed everything off. Everybody who was interested in Fallout 4 had already seen it. And those that weren't interested got a small taste, and I guess they can now go back and look at, what was already shown.
Yep. Then it was Peter Moore came up with the EA Access. They are adding Titanfall soon. Everyone's got
Titanfall's on there now.
Everyone's got a free week if you're with Gold. And Dragon Age is coming sometime later this year, which I bet will accompany a large expansion because there's no other way you'd give that thing away, is it?
Well, I guess, but I think EA Access is a great deal considering all the stuff you get in there, especially now with. Yeah, it's a great idea. You're still with EA Access, aren't you?
Absolutely. I play enough EA games that like I'm saving money on the microtransactions and stuff, but then also like I was able to load up UFC and play a few hours of that. Like I never would have bought it, but it's nice that I have it.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through the list as well, and I was like,
Battlefield 4
because it's free. It's free. Yeah, it is. It's free now, so I was like, I should just download like FIFA 15 and play that because I can.
I'm actually genuinely looking forward to the next FIFA just because of that training stuff they put in. Because I know that sounds really dumb, but I got FIFA with my Xbox One 2 years ago. I played one game, got like 3 red cards. It's like an intro game you have to play with Real Madrid, and I never picked it up again. It's like if they actually, because I'm planning to play it the PES way, I remember how to play those games quite instinctually, but I never moved to FIFA, and maybe having that stuff in there as a mode would be nice. I don't know. If it's free on EA Access in 2 years' time, then I'll give it a try, I guess. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2.
I was going to say, do you think that Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 will be free on EA Access?
Will one day. They'll probably make... I don't know if the other one's free, but it will be soon. Yeah,
I think it is free on EA Access now.
I wasn't surprised. I haven't played it. It's...
No, neither have I. It was never something I was interested in.
Forza 6. They brought a Ferrari down from the roof.
It wasn't a Ferrari, it was a Ford GT.
Well, that makes way more sense with the Ford dude being on stage. It's a racing game, it's got wheels. They drove quite fast around corners.
I'm sure people who are into car racing games will be interested. 450 cars, 24-player multiplayer, 1080p, 60 FPS.
I'm just going to blast through these next couple of games because I know we have nothing to say on them and they'll come up later.
Yep.
Dark Souls 3 trailer really showed nothing of interest to us.
I will probably buy it anyway. I was tempted to buy Dark Souls 2 on the Xbox One because I never played it before.
Yeah, I've heard this has got some elements of Bloodborne in it. Like there's a lot faster builds you can do, and yet also they've retained a lot of the other stuff like backstabs. So
I'm never going to play Bloodborne, so this is going to be my Bloodborne.
I've been thinking about Bloodborne every day for weeks. I don't know why. I didn't even really like that game, but it's on my mind. The Division, we'll talk about The Division more in Ubisoft.
The Division?
Division.
What is that game?
I mean, the Vision sounds way cooler than The Division, but Rainbow Six Siege, we'll get to that soon. Gigantic, I think it's a MOBA, it's free to play. Like, what?
Yeah, we were taking notes, and I was like, is this a MOBA? And you were like, oh my god, you're right.
It's
totally a MOBA. It's free to play as well.
I think it is. Yep. ID at Xbox showed off a game called Cuphead, which was super cool. Apparently it's really hard.
Yeah, apparently it's also exclusive for the Xbox One.
Is it not Xbox One and PC?
I don't know. I just saw the news earlier that exclusive Xbox One, and then there's probably and PC.
Yeah, so
thrown in there.
Cuphead will be this year's IDOB, which was last. This will be like the Ori and the Blind Forest for this next 6 months.
Yeah,
and they always seem to have one game, don't they? They really champion.
Yeah, well, this one looks really cool. It's very unique.
I think it's like all boss fights. The whole thing of that game is just it's going from boss fight to boss fight, and they're all different. It looks awesome. It's like a 1950s cartoon style.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
Do you want to start ranting about the next thing?
I think it's super dumb. I think they're devaluing their program, but having heard Phil Spencer talk about like the preview program, so we're talking about the Xbox preview program. They'll add
Xbox Game Preview.
Yeah, it's basically early access.
It's early access on Xbox One.
But
there's
with
games
demos,
that will be in there.
So
yeah, you can play only an hour of it, which kind of sucks.
But
I thought it would be like an hour or two.
So Elite Dangerous is on there now, and that's a game that I've been playing with a controller on my PC for about 40 hours this last week. and you will totally understand everything about that game in an hour. It's like you'll either like it and want to play 40 hours more, because everything you'll see in that hour is basically what that game is. It's like there's a lot of flying through space and then shooting at something for like 20 minutes and then flying through space for an hour. It's like,
I think this is really dumb, but I understand why they're doing it.
I mean, Phil Spencer has some good arguments about it, but I still think it's a shit service, personally.
Yeah, but then you don't have to take part in it. It's like the whole Steam Early Access thing where you don't have to take part of it. But the trouble is, it will become a market in its own, like Early Access, where people put out games that are nowhere near stable and then want money for it.
Yeah. I mean, Steam's handled it so badly, and maybe Microsoft won't. If they can handle it well, then it's a fine service, but...
Yeah, I mean, Phil Spencer came out and said, he will just completely scrap this program if it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at it earlier. Elite Dangerous is on there, which you said is really good, and I was like, I should try this out.
You should try it, not buy it. Seriously, anyone listening, try the game first. Like, it's super niche.
Yeah, it's like, you've got the trial there, you might as well use it before you pay money for it. But along next to that is, I think it was The Long Dark and Sheltered, and looking at screenshots of that game, it looks like a PS2 game.
I don't even know what that is. I've heard of it. I couldn't even bring a single image to mind, so...
Like, I'm not shitting on the game. It's like, I know this is in early access, but it looks nowhere
it's not an
at
Xbox
the level
One
that it should be on an Xbox One. Yeah.
I still hold on to this really vain idea that console games should be more than that. Like, it's like, PC Master Race, whatever. It's like the other way around for me. It's like, console games should work and like be locked at a frame rate, and when they're not, I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
So seeing some of the shit that's handed up on the PS4 store, seeing some of the shit on the Wii U store, it's like...
Yeah, the problem is, PC has been so overrun by shitty, unfinished games that just bring down the entire service.
I mean,
and now they're coming to console.
The difference is, it used to be on Desura, and now it's on Steam. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, you used to hold PC gaming up to some sort of, respect level, and then you look at what's happening in current years with all the shit coming out on early access, and all the flood of indie games that aren't finished coming on there. It's just kind of devalued PC gaming, and now that's coming to the consoles.
Speaking of garbage unfinished games, Dean Hall's got a new game coming out on Xbox One called Ion. Also, Rise of the Tomb Raider, which...
Hang on. I
just
want to note
this.
that on our write-up for the Microsoft comments, I had a lot of choice words that Kyle removed. That's all I'm going to say.
I do not give a fuck about DayZ.
I don't like Dean Hall because he is the reason Steam Early Access is a thing.
I know.
Why so many people put out shitty, unfinished games.
I mean, he's probably
and then he took people's money and then ran away and was like, I'm not finishing DayZ now.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, I haven't called him the word I said in the write-up yet.
Rise of the Tomb Raider looks like a Tomb Raider game. What more do you want from me?
Lara Croft got beat up and breathed heavily for like 10 minutes.
Rare fucking third day, Rare Replay. All games, you might love them if you love classic Rare games. More interestingly, Rare is making a new game called Sea of Thieves, which I hear
Hang on a
like.
second. People have been bitching about no Banjo-Kazooie. People have been saying, oh, I want a new Battletoads game, lol. And now they're like, yeah, you can totally play the old ones now. $30 and 30 games. That's a great deal if you're into old Rare games.
Right, look at, there's 4 games in the Halo Master Chief Collection. Now there's 5 campaigns. That didn't work for over a year. About a year, basically. A little bit less. It still doesn't work great now. How long is this going to take them for 30 games? With Rare making it.
You're forgetting there's games on there like Battletoads and the original Banjo-Kazooie.
Well, that's
I'm
never
pretty sure a calculator
good,
can run them.
Yeah. Yeah, Sea of Thieves, though, what did you think about that? It's a pirate MMO.
It looked really cool. Like, I've wanted more stuff like Assassin's Creed 4, but the pirate aspect of Assassin's Creed 4, not the Assassin's Creed part of Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
Like, playing Assassin's Creed 4, I was like, I wish I could play with friends and we could all be on the one ship and all have our different roles. And, have somebody as the captain, someone as the first mate looking out for ships.
You just want me on your hands and knees, like in the front of the deck, swabbing the deck, don't you? That's all you want. Let's be honest.
You're going to wear very little clothing. It's hot out here in the Caribbean.
Absolutely. It'll be just a do-rag, Marcus Phoenix style. and nothing else, just a sponge and a do-rag. Fable
Yep.
Legends, everyone continues to not care about in any form.
It's going to be on Windows 10, Xbox One,
Yeah,
free to play.
I got another code for that like 2 days ago, so if you want in, message me, I guess. We'll break NDA and get you in there.
Yeah,
Valve
if
VR.
anybody wants my Smite keys, you can have them as well.
I got 3 keys to the Gears of War Ultimate Edition beta. I'm like, I already own this game, and I know you know this. It's like, why are you giving me 3
You
keys to
should
this?
send me one. I didn't bother signing up.
I didn't sign up for it. I signed up for nothing. I just got them like after that press conference.
Maybe it looked for people who have played the Gears franchise.
No, what we'll do is I'll send you one of those codes, and we'll totally do a video on it. I don't know how long it's up, but we'll get that done because
Okay.
people might be interested in that. Like, I'm interested in seeing what it looks like.
I've seen a screenshot of it, and it looks much better than Gears 1.
There's a lot of screenshots. It's also coming to the 360 and the PC.
What?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I heard it was coming to PC, not the 360.
And the 360.
Why would you release a 360 game on the 360?
Right, this is what's interesting about the backwards compatibility is they're remaking Gears 1. It's like, in a year's time when that backward compatibility is out, they can never remake another game on that service. Because it's like, it loses its value unless they do something insane like the Master Chief Collection and like, up-res them and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, they said with the backwards compatibility thing, right now it's only 21 games for the preview members to test out, and then it will release in the fall with 112 games, and then 100 in the next month, and then they will continue to add games based on requests and feedback.
Yeah.
The only reason a 360 game wouldn't be on the backwards compatibility if it's a Kinect game, because it doesn't work with the Xbox One Kinect. If they have trouble licensing or the developer doesn't want it.
Yeah, the other thing that I know Phil Spencer said was they're still having to do a bit of work on dual disc games. In fact, he said that Lost Odyssey was one of his favourite games that generation, which is bizarre, but yeah, they're having some trouble with that, but I think it's just like they have to do a little bit more work on like making them seem seamless. But
yeah, well, there's the whole thing with, I did a write-up if anybody wants to know how it works.
It's GameDropZone.com.
Yeah, with disc-based games, it's clever how they do it.
Yep.
So, I mean, they totally could. You just put in one of the discs and then download it all.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know. This Valve VR announcement, did they actually say anything about it?
They partnered with Valve for Valve's VR technology on Windows 10.
Right.
I guess whatever problems Gabe Newell has with I know he had a problem with Windows 8.
Yeah, well,
I don't believe he had a problem with Windows 10, Windows 7 though.
No, well, Windows 8 was because the whole storefront, wasn't it? It's like they're trying to like cut out independent devs and make them go through their shitty Windows 10 store, Windows 8 store.
But I mean, yeah, Windows 8 was a shitty idea in a lot of ways, but apparently he's on board with Windows 10. I couldn't imagine Valve and Gabe Newell partnering with Microsoft and putting all of their eggs in a basket for Windows 10 if it wasn't good or wasn't good for them.
It's called money. Microsoft have a lot of it. I don't know if you've noticed.
I guess, but at the same time, they could have done nothing because everybody will move on to Windows 10 at some point.
Yeah, I guess this is just going to operate in the same way that the Rift does, doesn't it? Really, where it's like you'll be able to use it as a VR headset with your Xbox One games.
It's definitely interesting that they're working with Valve to develop it for Windows 10.
What's more interesting is the HoloLens, which I know you're dying to talk about.
Now, that was really cool. I mean, the demo started and this guy was playing Minecraft with the HoloLens on, projecting it onto a wall, just playing it like normal Minecraft, and I was like, well, this sucks. This isn't I guess it is a hologram because, he projected it so he could see it on a wall.
Yeah.
But then he moves over to a table and there's just totally this holographic 3D world that you can zoom into and you can look really close. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's
interesting. As useless and pointless as you think HoloLens is, and I think it's pretty pointless and useless too.
Yeah.
Seeing that brought me on board with the possibilities.
So I do want to address this because I don't want a narrative to build up that I think it doesn't really have a lot of use in everyday lives, which is where I think the technology is going to be it's going to be hard for it to find a ground, in the same way. Like the Apple Watch has no use. It's never going to take off in the same way that the iPhone did, which had a huge use. So, that's my issue with it. It's like they haven't said anything real about when you would want to use it.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like to, tease you about HoloLens being the greatest thing ever, I think it's very impractical, but there are a lot of practical uses for it. Like, they've
Sculpting a
displayed
bike as a graphic designer, for example.
having a Skype call even though there's no, mic
Having
on
a
it.
Skype call against the floor when you're like fucking working on a car and there's no camera
Yeah.
or microphone. It's like, what?
Well, I think it could be really cool for some things, like video conferencing. If it somehow worked, would be cool.
But it's only
It'd be
one
like,
way though. It's like they don't see you.
I guess, but you wouldn't need to. It could be like the start of Deus Ex Human Revolution, where there's just like a bunch of anonymous profile faces on a wall speaking like really gruffles, like, synthetic voices.
So there's some interesting stuff about this. Is they've had a demo which was it was a briefing with the Sarah Palmer from Halo, and it was like there's no gameplay, but it's like these journalists were able to don their headset, walk down a corridor with like waypoints, actively working Halo style, which is really cool, and then like stand around a briefing table, and like 6 of them at once all have the same briefing, but from different areas, and it's all like holographically projected, and that all sounds really awesome. But A, it's not a game. It's not in actually Halo 5. And B, the field of view is apparently, like, bad. Like, it only extends to a very narrow cube in the middle of your vision when wearing the glasses. Which, I don't know if you've seen any of that.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, it's still in development. I'm sure it will not be great right now.
No, but Kuda did say the field of view was unlikely to change in an interview. Which was
Really?
what bothered me. It was like, he's like, this is not final hardware, but things like that aren't going to change, which was like, well... And it's clearly not final hardware because they had to have a dude like measure your eyes before you put it on, apparently. So it's like, that's never going to be a real life thing because fucking nobody's an optician. So
That's weird. I think it's unusual because I think it's like 90 degrees is a human field of view.
yeah,
Anything lower than that makes you feel fish-eyed, and everything's very narrow.
yeah. This is quite a narrow view, by the sounds of it, like only going off people's impressions.
Yeah.
It,
I mean, I think it definitely has possibilities for gaming in terms like you just described with Halo. Like, if
Yeah.
you could wear it and it somehow detected you were wearing it in-game.
yes, that would be cool if it's like, here's a game on your screen, but like this AR is somehow enhancing it outside of the game world. Would be interesting.
Exactly. Could you imagine a game that has no UI, but then you put on the headset and you see the UI there?
But then the problem is the UI is going to be a very narrow tunnel in the middle of your sight. Where it's like, so my TV is like close enough that my TV is probably like further distance, off to the sides. But
Yeah.
It'll be super cool. I just, I know Microsoft can't launch hardware. I've seen it fail again and again. I don't see why this would be any different.
Mm.
Like the one good piece of hardware they've launched is the 360, and that was like 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have my doubts.
We talked about Gears of War Ultimate Edition briefly.
Gears of War 4 though, fuck, dude. God, I thought I wasn't
I've
going to
never
love
been
Gears,
into
but
Gears of War 4.
Oh, Gears of War 4. Looked really cool. It was like a nighttime.
Can
demo,
I
very
imagine?
moody.
I imagine like the Sony conference where people got excited for certain games is how people who like Gears of War got excited for this announcement.
Yeah, I got
Because
excited.
I was like, oh, it's a new Gears of War game, okay. And then people were like freaking out over Gears of War 4 and being like, oh god, yes.
The music, which was something really strange. The music was like weirdly emotional for me in that press conference. It was bizarre. It's I'm so excited for that game. So excited. It looks awesome. There was like a big thing with tentacles in its face, which is totally new. Like new weird pulsating veins up the sides of walls, new characters that don't look like totally shitty like the last ones do. It's I'm so excited to see what they do with it. Which I never thought. Again, I didn't think I would be because it's fucking Gears. Come on. I loved Gears 3. I like Judgment, but yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Do you want to move on?
But no, before we move on, we don't have any sort of coverage on the site, but what do you think of the new Xbox UI that's coming this fall?
I haven't seen any of it. I've seen like one screenshot you sent me. I haven't.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. There's a video on I think it's unlisted on the Xbox YouTube account.
Right.
I don't know where the link is for it, but it looks very interesting. It's very different to what there is now.
Yeah.
It fixes. I think Phil Spencer said that it's going to be 50% faster than the current UI.
He did. Yeah.
Which is a big problem people have with the current UI, that it's just so slow to do anything.
I want to know if he means
They've definitely
raw performance, like these menus load faster, or does he mean it's like you can accomplish your task in half the time? Like, that would be interesting to see, because it's like, the UI is currently sluggish and really confusing. It's like, both of those things improved.
They've definitely improved on a lot of things. It's very easy to, like, just get into options to change your microphone now and invite friends and start parties. And it comes with Cortana, so essentially they're getting rid of the horrible Kinect interface right now. And then you just speak to Cortana and she performs more complex tasks. Like I can say, like, Cortana, invite Kyle to a party, and it will just invite you to a party without taking me out of the game.
Yeah, they also said the Kinect would reliably sense where you were, and they still haven't figured that one out, so I remain skeptical.
Yeah.
But that legitimately sounds cool. I'm gunning for a new UI.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I was using my Xbox One today because I wanted to go play some Halo, and I held down the button to turn the thing off. It fucking froze on the Xbox menu because I couldn't play multiplayer. It kept giving me a message saying it's downloading the latest content. I'm like, I just patched 200 megs of you before I came in game. So I then went to quit off my Xbox because I was going to start spamming you. And then my Xbox locked up when I tried to quit out the thing. So it's like, yeah. I got it off in the end, but it was like, fuck. It turned off my controller first just by holding down the main button. You know, the Xbox button.
My Kinect still disconnects itself all the time.
Yeah,
which sucks because if it's going to keep doing that, then I'm not going to be able to use Cortana because I won't have a Kinect.
I wonder, I've actually heard some people just dealing with cache shit and just clearing out that thing. It's actually really helped people with their performance problems, but I haven't done that myself because I don't use it often enough to need that.
I'll have to look into that then.
I'm not trying to skip through things. I'm just trying to keep this rolling because you got 7 conferences.
We're gonna have to break this up into 2 separate podcasts.
I was about to say that what we'll do is we'll go through this EA conference because there's some hot shit and there's some bad shit.
I was about to say we'll finish EA and then we'll stop.
Yeah, we'll have a part 2. We'll have a part 2, as the French might say. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Ooh.
Mixed feelings. It was a really cool trailer. But I was like, I wanted to see more than a 5-second trailer.
It didn't feel like Mass Effect because of the music. It wasn't at all Mass Effect music. I didn't think Johnny
it was Mass
Cash.
Effect. Yeah, I thought it was fucking something weird. This is some shitty montage before a Need for Speed guy drives through the desert. And I was like, fuck,
yeah.
There's an N7 logo, and goddammit, there's a Mako. Fuck. But it was cool.
Based on the leak that came out a while ago about that guy who said, "Oh yeah, I've been asked to take a Mass Effect survey."
No, I have no idea.
Haven't you? You've never read that?
I bet I have, but I don't remember it off what you've just told me.
Essentially, it's like the Fallout 4 thing where everything he said in the leak was real. Essentially, he said you're in the Andromeda section, you're scouting out new locations for settlements in this different cluster. You're essentially a bunch of covert ops.
I wrote an article about that in which I said it was basically... I wrote an article about the time that leak happened, which was saying about how I'd like it to be like Dragon Age. Because everything BioWare does is iterative, and you can see it in their work really clearly. As I was about to finalize the article, fucking that leak happened, didn't it? And I was like, well, fuck, I can't not address this. And then BioWare started commenting. You should go back and check that out. It's Midweek Musings. It's a column on the site. I do totally remember.
Yeah, from what... I guess the music kind of makes sense. Essentially, you are space cowboys, out there scouting new lands.
It's right. It
was
Ghost Raiders. The tone up with this game. It's just a trailer. If people are worried about that, then that's insane.
They came out and said that the person in the trailer is not the main character. You have to play as a male or female human, but that was not the main character.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's some sort of antagonist who is gone rogue or something.
I don't know. They've talked again. Check that article out. They talked about some stuff at a panel on Comic-Con about about the N7 stuff. They showed off some armor. There's a lot of cool things they do. They did this with Dragon Age Inquisition, where they talked about it to fans a lot for a year or two beforehand, and then announced the actual game formally a year from development. It's weird. They've said quite a bit on some of the things like that, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool. What about Need for Speed?
What was cool is Need for Speed. Yeah, what did you think of that? I was like, oh great, we're in LA again.
Do you like street racing games? I don't like them. I know you do like them. Talk to me about it.
I liked Midnight Club LA, which ironically enough is also in LA. I like the whole underground street racing, just kind of that illegal sort of feeling and the music and everything about it, and just fast cars and cops and all that stuff.
You like to drift through piles of heroin needles and stuff.
What I'm saying is I like Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift.
Absolutely.
legitimately, I would like a game like that. I'm not going to play this Need for Speed because it's Need for Speed.
Right?
But if they,
you need to play this game because it's got fucking FMV cutscenes in it once again.
yeah, the trailer looked amazing.
I think I missed some of it, but I would like to try a racing game that isn't on track. I feel I should owe that to myself again.
Yeah, I don't like track racing games, which comes down to it, and I like street racing games, so this is definitely up my alley, but it's a Need for Speed game. The previous two haven't been great, and they've all kind of, not exactly track racing, but it's like, yeah, the cops are going to chase you while you race along this coastal road or through this forest.
Yeah.
And now this is just totally, you're in LA, free roaming racing.
This is what I always like. I played quite a bit of Need for Speed back in the PS2 era, and this is kind of what I remember of it. Was a lot of like, sort of like nighttime street shit. So that's cool. It's cool. I might be confusing it with Project Gotham, but that was Xbox, wasn't it?
I don't know. What I do know is you creamed yourself over this next trailer.
Oh my god, fucking right, Twin Brothers. You know how I feel about them. This entire it was.
We're keeping this PG friendly.
They've announced a lot of cool stuff. Some of that stuff leaked beforehand. Basically, what I've gathered from stuff since this press conference was you're playing the Outlander. They say you're playing as the Outlander, and you're a veteran of the Galactic Civil War. That's your character you're pulling in if you've played previously. And I think what happens is you get frozen in carbonite, and then wake up years later. And, like, the war's over, like, the empires have been kind of, like, crumbled a little bit, and now you're fighting this new foe, which seems insane for an MMO. Like, I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but it's chapter-based.
Yeah, how is that going to work with people who don't play the expansion, and yet they weren't frozen in carbonite?
No idea. But it's chapter-based. They're going to launch with 9 chapters of the story, which is weird, because it's like, I don't know if 9 chapters is 9 story missions, but chapter-based, right, you can recruit or not recruit AI companions, kind of like Mass Effect style by the sounds of it. And they all have their own agendas. Some of them are characters that were in your party beforehand, because you build up character companions, like 6 of them or whatever. But some of them might be other characters' companions, so maybe the Jedi Knight might be able to recruit like let's say a Sith warrior companion or something weird like that, which is really cool. And then also the new companions. And they might betray you, they might try to kill you, you might have to kill them. It's like all the stuff you want from a BioWare game seems to be happening in the story sense in the Old Republic.
Yeah, I mean, they said that this expansion is going to be a BioWare-style story.
It's so exciting. Like, I love what's in there now, but like the stuff they're talking about with this is... And it's free to subscribers. They haven't charged a lot for the previous expansions. It's been like maybe £10, £15 or something for them purchase, so I can't imagine this would cost a huge amount, but it is episodic with the chapters, so
yeah.
They say it's going to be like 1 a month, like proper regular content after the 9 at the beginning. It seems insane, like just super cool. New factions, new enemy factions. You don't play as them. It's still the same 8 classes, but they're just expanding them, and they're going to like make your choices from the previous thing matter. But you can also start a level 60 character new as well for free. So 60 is the current cap now, so it couldn't be cooler, in my opinion.
I'm not super into Star Wars, so I had no idea this whole, other faction existed.
Neither do I. That's what I mean. They're fucking completely new.
That's awesome. They had like these weird twin brothers.
Hot twin brothers.
One of them got their face burned off.
They're fighting alongside each other, and then they're fighting each. Oh, watch that trailer. It's like the old style Old Republic trailers with the proper CG. It's really cool. Fucking cool trailer. They get Star Wars better than like LucasArts ever did. Basically. What about Unravel? Like, this was an interesting announcement.
Yeah, EA threw a bunch of graphical power at a side scroller in classic
game,
EA fashion. Yeah.
It's like, we're running this platformer on Frostbite. I don't know if it is Frostbite, but it looks like it. Like,
yeah. I think no matter what the game was like, I think everybody will take away from this trailer, or from this, I guess, reveal, the guy presenting it.
What's his name?
I don't know his name, but I know his Twitter handle, because
I want to say it's Martin.
I don't know, but after the conference I was like, man, this guy's going to be kind of shit on, because he was so nervous.
Oh yeah.
And you could see like his hands shaking, but like he had the courage to go on stage anyway, and he was very enthusiastic about his work, which he should be.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, this guy's going to get torn. this guy's going to get torn apart because he was so nervous and it was so obvious. And then just seeing all of the positive comments coming towards him on Twitter and on places online, and people like, just drawing fan art of him and Yanni and stuff. It was great to see.
It was awesome.
The internet being nice for once.
It is. It's like, I don't want, indie developers are their own people, but when I see someone like that, I'm like, this is a dude who's fucking really not used to this level of like, just like pompous shit, basically. And he's like, he made his game. He clearly believes in it. He's gonna fucking bring this yarn doll on stage and talk about his holiday camping trip or whatever. And it was really kind of magical, I guess.
It's very different to seeing, a suit go up there and talk about this franchise,
It was,
and then this guy who it's his own project and he believes in it come out and talk about it.
Yeah, so there was an interview with Peter Moore on the Kind of Funny stage with Greg Miller and them, and he was talking about this, and he was like, it was a huge risk, not like from the game point. He said, right, their studio and their publisher were basically pulled all funding, and they were going to die. There's 14 of them, and they were never going to be able to finish their game. And then Patrick Sutherland, the I think Swedish Nordic executive, like totally just saw it and like wanted to bring it on. And so Peter Moore's like, yeah, we might not make any money off it, we might lose a bit, but it's cool. I mean, we have the money to burn. So that's literally what he said. He's like, well, if we're not going to do it, then who else will? Because they have no other funding.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it was nervous for them because it was like they're going to throw this guy up here on stage, and it could go poorly because they're going to pull Pele out later. It's like, it's such a weird thing when you think about it. But it's cool.
It's so great. Yeah.
It's I don't want to see that every year. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll try out an indie dev every year now. But seeing that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very real moment.
It was, unlike Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2, which whatever. Moving on. NHL 16. Moving on. McIlroy PGA Tour. Moving on. NBA Live 16. We got to talk about this one.
Do we?
The Hoop God. Who the fuck was that?
The fucking Hoop God. He came out and scanned his face to prove, like, 2K, like, no, I mean, our face scanning software was shit last year, but it's great this year, we swear.
Well, no,
and then the Hoop God scanned his face and it looked like shit.
Yeah, it was a dig against 2K. Whatever, the app works far better than 2K shit did, so. Game Face is back, baby. Mobile, moving on. Minions Paradise, moving on.
We're gonna have to talk about FIFA 16, but
do we?
In case people don't realize, every year EA pull out all this fucking sports shit.
Oh yeah, we call it
and we
shit.
Don't care about it.
Absolutely, but it's also the thing that's making that company money. Unlike stuff,
I guess because they just sell cards to people that go and buy them.
And like FIFA is huge. Like it's not appealing to many of us, but if they didn't show it, it would be downright irresponsible for like shareholders and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's not our market. We're not the people that play these games.
No.
And I understand why they show it. I'm not angry that they keep showing it every year because I know it's not my thing. I'm not going to be like, oh, they shouldn't show all these sports games because I'm not interested in them. Because I know other people are.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone watching that conference was, but they did bring Pele up on stage, which I thought was kind of insane. Kind of. Like, the biggest football celebrity ever, basically.
I don't know, it was just a general FIFA announcement. They said shit like innovation.
Oh yeah, well what?
Best FIFA yet.
The training stuff seems actually interesting. Like, as somebody who hasn't never got into a FIFA game for more than 10 minutes. Like that it's not in every game mode, it's something you opt into, is like to get like contextual things about the moves you can do and shit. And that seems like actually a good way of doing training in a sports game. Again, it's fucking sports though, come on.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
I don't care.
Did you play Mirror's Edge?
I never finished Mirror's Edge. I thought it was really cool to play, but I never finished it.
I missed most of this demo. I was away doing shit and never played Mirror's Edge, so I have nothing to contribute.
That's always good. I didn't realize until after the conference was over that people were comparing the evil CEO of the game to EA's CEO, and I was like, oh, that's good.
I mean, Andrew, like, yeah, they'll do it because it's the internet, but like,
it looks just like him.
Whatever, Andrew Wilson's hot. I want to see hot evil dude in Mirror's Edge. It might get me to buy the game. I don't care if he looks like a real person or not.
Look at this evil white male fighting this brave woman.
How well does he pull off a suit? Does he pull it off as well as Andrew Wilson? That's all I'm interested in. Is he as slick? NFL. Wait, didn't we already talk about NFL?
No, in NFL, you can be the playmaker. That was the tagline they used. Moving on.
It got about the same response that it just got then.
Yeah.
Like, I love how in the middle of that sports moment, they totally made a banner couple on the bottom of the screen that said 15 minutes Star Wars Battlefront. Like, thank Christ.
Yeah, people were like tuning out, going onto like Twitter and Reddit.
Star Wars Battlefront was the ultimate cock tease. That woman talked about her love of Star Wars for long enough that I was like fucking salivating on my desk.
I was just sat back like, oh cool, Star Wars Battlefront.
It was really cool.
I'm excited for it. I'm just not
Holy
a massive.
fuck.
I'm just not a massive Star Wars fan.
No. You might not like this game. It's like, they've talked a lot about the gameplay in different places. It's like not Battlefield, sorry. It's
Well, that's what people complained about, that it was just going to be Battlefields.
I think Battlefield
and I was
players might not like this because it's like not like the way the guns handle, the way that like they've talked about some of the charging mechanics.
I didn't expect it to be like Battlefield. It was just the internet assumed it would be.
No, but I mean, like,
You know?
I could see a lot of them not liking this from based on things I've heard about it. But
Yeah.
fuck, it looks like Star Wars. Holy
It does,
shit!
yeah, it's really nice.
And it's like, I think
That
it's
was
the
on
best graphical thing I may have ever seen.
That was on PS4 as well.
Yeah, that was running on the PS4. Yeah, and they've got demos on the showroom floor. And with the split screen, apparently it holds up at 60 frames a second, no problem. So
That's
I hope
awesome.
that stays true for when they ship the game. I mean, I'm never going to use it, but
I hope the graphics can stay true as well, because I don't want it to be a case of like every EA or every E3 where people get excited and then the game comes out and suddenly it's been downgraded because what was shown at E3 was just a demo.
the difference is EA have never had that problem, have they? Like, look at Battlefield. Look at fucking Battlefield 4 launched years ago. It's still fucking amazing.
I know, but it's a problem with a lot of things. Like, look at Watch Dogs is the biggest example.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Dragon Age Inquisition looks unbelievable. I think it looks better than The Witcher, mainly because of the art, to be honest. Like, in terms of like raw fidelity, they're probably about the same. And those games fucking play well, you know. They throw money at their tech, something like Ubisoft doesn't. Like, Assassin's Creed looks great, but fuck, it doesn't run terribly.
Yeah, the one complaint. I mean, putting aside the internet's reaction to Star Wars Battlefront, the new rebranded thing about, oh, it's missing all these features. Oh, you can't drive the AT-ATs. Oh, this and that. It's like
Suck my dick.
The one complaint I have is I don't like the UI with the big health bar that shows up.
Yeah, I don't like the UI with the cards on the right, but I like the rest of the UI. Like, it's really fucking Spartan, and then you see these huge ass cards and the health bar. But I don't mind the health bar. I see what you do. It looks like Destiny UI, which I like, where it's like, here's this block color, and then like
it's even got the same.
transparent.
It's even got the same radar.
I like that. Like, the fucking Destiny has really nice UI. As a dude who has a horrible fascination with UI design, I like that shit. But I do not like the cards. But I wonder how that will change, if at all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it ended on a cock tease with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader facing off.
Oh my god, that game
The
looks
reveal
so
for Darth
good.
Vader was amazing.
So
Like, he was just shooting people, he turns around and sees his friend getting choked out, turns around and suddenly Darth Vader's standing there and pulls out his lightsaber.
yeah, like that's another thing with that Rodian. They showed off alien player characters. Seamless switching between third and first person looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking shooting ATSGs.
The one thing I will say is this is DICE making this game, remember?
It's the real DICE, though. Which I know Battlefield
When you
4
say
was
real
too.
DICE, the real DICE are the ones that made Battlefield 4.
They also had to ship on a date for a console launch. They've been working on this console for 2 years now. They'll be fine. I suspect it will be fine.
Well, let's hope it is, because this is a big game. If they fuck this up as well,
But
DICE is pretty much dead to consumers.
they'll be dead to look like. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like they fucking, yeah, but it would be bad for consumers. It'd be fucking terrible for their relationship with the license holder that they now have for the next 10 years. Like, they're not going to fuck this one up. They'll throw like whatever studios they have to at making more art assets if that's an issue.
They'll send DICE LA to fix it again after it launches broken.
Yeah, they'll be like, we've got these 14 unraveled indie devs. Their fucking game runs. Why doesn't yours? We're going to throw fucking Martin and Yanni at this issue until it resolves.
Yeah.
looked amazing. What looked even cooler, I thought, was the stuff that appeared at the Sony demo. But we will get to that in part 2 of our post
Yep,
E3
we got another
Dropcast.
part.
I
Got a lot of stuff to cover. What we got? We got Ubisoft, Sony.
You say that, but we've got Ubisoft. That wasn't a conference. That was a shit show.
Yes, but we still have to go over it. We have Ubisoft. We got Sony. We got Nintendo. We have to go through as well. And then lastly, we'll finish off with Square Enix because we didn't cover the PC gaming show.
Was it a show? Like, I tried to find like streams of it today, and it was like, here's a fucking 10-minute interview with whoever. It was. I don't want to see Cliffy B talk about how games need to be hardcore. To be honest,
all I've heard from it is they showed some Deus Ex Mankind reveal or Mankind Divided graphics trailer for PC, and there was some XCOM 2 news as far as I know.
I heard one person's opinion who I do not value at all, but I happen to follow on Twitter, like sort of like ran down just his impressions from like I guess stages through the show, and it was like it started off great and then ended really badly and then got boring in the middle. So
yeah,
I don't even know how long it was. I know they've been doing stuff for a while, but yeah, I'll have to drag some of that stuff up. But yeah, part 2 of the GameDropZone fucking recap of post 3 E3. Check it out.
I don't know what I'm going to name this. I've already used my pre-3 joke.
Well, post 3, poo 3.
Post-op.
Poo 3.
We've already gone through the transition stage. We were pre, then we were trans, and now we're post.
Right. I am not trans individual. Let's be clear. I have no problem with those if you are, but oh god. Check back soon.